I am a pansexual. That means that I will sleep with anything. No, that means that I'm attracted to men and women and, any variation thereof. If you are a female, wait there, sorry. If you are female presenting and you have a penis, I am attracted to you. If you are a male presenting person with a vagina, I am attracted to you still. So I do consider myself a queer person. I am part of the LGBT community. I am a gay person. But I do not believe that trans people are the gender in which they claim that they are. I'm sorry, but you're just not. And there's nothing wrong with that. So let's talk about it. So I used to be one of those people. I considered myself a hard lefty, okay? And I used to say that trans women are real women and that's it. You can't argue otherwise. If you even try to question it, you are a bigot, you are this and that, you're sexist, you're homophobic. I was exactly like that. Because that's what I truly believe. I genuinely thought you had to refuse any debate on it outright and just say, no, this is how it is. If you think differently, you are a bad person. I used to go into comment sections and argue with people and say, trans women are real women. If you don't think so, you're this and that, you're this and that. I was nasty to people. And now I look back and I realize I was stupid because now I'm on the other side of the fence. Now I've grown up a little bit, I've thought a little bit, and I've observed the world around me enough to see what's actually going on and to see how queer people and trans people have been weaponized. It's very clear they've used the whole thing just to rile people up. It causes people on the other side to get really upset by what they're seeing every day, and then obviously the queer community are then able to respond to whatever they've done and retaliate to their retaliation. It's just bouncing back and forth. Trans people, you have been weaponized. You have been made to argue and fight this argument because you're a good distraction. You're benefiting the people who are working against you by arguing at all. Trans people are fighting against themselves by fighting at all. They don't even realize they're doing it. You guys need to understand this. The government love divide and conquer. It's perfect for them. Keeps us all squabbling over minor things. And that's exactly what's happening right now. You fighting for your rights as a trans person is just a huge distraction from everything else going on. That is not the most important issue. We are trying to live our lives day to day. All of us are struggling to get by, especially working class people. We're struggling to get by every single day. We're trying to deal with our jobs and our lives and our cleaning and our health, our hygiene. We're dealing with it all the time, trying to get our social life on point, trying to be as good people as we can be in all aspects. And we're being hounded constantly for not putting enough focus and attention on the small minority of people who want to argue about their gender and how they feel inside and how they want to be perceived. How you want to be perceived is your problem. It's in your life. It's in your isolated life that you're dealing with. I'm dealing with my own issues. I'm dealing with how I'm being perceived by the world, and so are you. But the way I'm being perceived, I am not demanding that you change your language and the words that you use. I'm not demanding that you change the way you live your life in any way. I'm not demanding that you change the way toilet systems work, the way that school systems work with splitting boys and girls. There is a deep human culture when it comes to men and women. There is something that goes far deeper than you understand. And life has been on this planet for however many years. There are roles in species. Men and women do matter. There has to be that separation. And there is a clear definition of which is which and what does what and the roles that they have. I refer to every trans friend I know as the pronoun in which they prefer. But I know that they're not deep inside, and I wish that they would just accept that too. There's nothing wrong with saying, I am a female, but I want to be referred to as a male. I am a female, but I want to look like a male, okay? Or I'm a man, but I want everyone to see me as a woman. But you're not that gender, and that's fine. You can't force the world to change what the meaning of something natural is, something organic. It's evolution. We can't change it. It's a natural thing. It exists preemptively. It's out of our control. Gender exists already. It's like trying to change the colour of air. You just can't do it. It is what it is, and that's fine. I see it every single day. I see queer people who are using brute force, forcing their language onto other people, making other people silenced. I've seen instances where queer communities get together and have demanded cheaper prices at certain venues that I've been to. I secretly agree with these decisions by the government to make it clear that trans women are not real women and vice versa with men. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry, you have to accept that you can't force evolution to change. You can't force biology to change. And trans people always say that we just want the right to exist. That's what I always hear them say. I see trans friends of mine post online, and all they're saying is that we just want the right to exist. That's all we're asking for. We're just asking for the right to be here. We're not in anyone's way. We just want to exist like everybody else. That's not what you're doing. You're asking for way more than just the right to exist. You are asking to be treated better. You think you are more special than others because you are trans, and you deserve extra help and aid in your life because you feel like you are burdened by this thing so much that life owes you more than anybody else. And every single day, there are trans people every single day having to argue the semantics of pronouns with strangers all the time. Every conversation they have, every restaurant they go to, every time they get served in any shop or anything like that. All businesses now have had to adjust the way they speak to people, the language in which they use, and have to tread lightly in everything to make sure they do not offend you. You can't go outside without there being an issue. You feel like the whole world is against you. You're fighting this non-existent fight. It doesn't exist. The world and society cannot make adjustments. They can't make individual adjustments for every single person and their own needs and the things that offend them. There are things that I deal with every single day as whatever demographic I'm in, whether it be a man, whether it be working class. There are many aspects of life I have to deal with that I can't change, that are out of my control. But you want to try and control and change everything to make sure you live in a perfect utopia for yourself, where you are comforted. You want to make sure that you are completely devoid of scrutiny. You want to ensure that nobody can harm your ego. Bad exists, and there's nothing that can stop it. You can't change people from judging you. When you leave the house and you step outside, you are vulnerable to attack from anybody, to criticism, to judgment, to anything, even to physical harm. When you go out in public and you're sharing this world with other people, you are sharing it with every single type of person that exists. And some of them are trans, some of them are incredibly straight, some of them are incredibly flamboyant, some of them are quiet, some are loud, some are colourful, some are not. There are so many different types of people out there. And there are people that you are treading on by the things that you demand as a trans person. And you don't even consider them because you're too obsessed on making sure that nobody is treading on you. The world is not about you. There's been new legislation passed in the States and the UK, basically saying that trans people are not officially the gender they claim to be. This is a new legislation that trans people and queer people are not happy about. I personally am happy about it. Even as somebody who has trans friends and is attracted to trans people, and I accept trans people into my social circles and into my sex life, I completely agree with this legislation. Okay, we need to come down to earth. We need to think clearly. We need to come back to reality. You are welcome to be the person you want to be and call yourself what you like, but it is not a legal official definition. By the laws of nature, it just can't happen. By the literal laws of nature, you cannot change your gender. You can have a surgery to completely mash up your genitals into something else, make it as close to a vagina or a penis as you want to make it, but it is not real, and you are not that gender. Internally and through your DNA, right to the bone, you are the gender you were born as, and that's who you are. So I'm seeing a lot of trans people posting online about this new legislation, and I notice they keep claiming that it's really dangerous for trans people. You know, it's going to create a dangerous world, and they're incredibly worried about the world they're going to live in if adjustments aren't made for them, okay? There is no danger for them. Yes, there are people who will attack you for being trans, for example. Yes, there are people who will attack me in the street just for no reason, because they like to attack people. You can be attacked for being white, black, tall, skinny, fat, everything. And being gay or queer is another reason to be attacked. It's not a good thing at all, of course not. But that exists in the world. So yes, there is a danger to trans people, just like everybody else, of being attacked physically, or being criticized, or judged, or mocked. Sure, just like everybody else. The world is not any more dangerous for you. Yes, it's more difficult for you now to, say, use a different bathroom if you don't look like the gender of the bathroom you're trying to use. If a big 40-year-old man with a big beard is trying to enter the ladies' toilet, but he's in a dress, I do not care. You know, it doesn't matter how he feels. In his own house, in his own space, sure, he can control how things work, but out in public, you do not get to control how things work. But there is no danger in this. This legislation is correct. This legislation is smart. It's crazy that we even have to debate this with you and argue this with you. You are not that gender that you claim to be. Get over it. And you know what? You're actually very lucky that you live in a society where you have such little real problems that you can create problems like this. In a bored society, people will create mundane issues because it's all they have. You have nothing else to worry about. People are actually starving and struggling in this world. And you're sitting there arguing over, well, people aren't calling me a girl. Do you know how pathetic that is? That you are kicking and screaming because people aren't calling you a girl. When there's real problems happening. People are dying. People are at war. People are starving. People are being bought and sold and everything. There are crazy things going on in this world. Dark, dark things that go on in this world. Real issues. Countries are being bombed to shit. And you're kicking and screaming because people aren't calling you a girl. Get over yourself. Start contributing something proper to society. This whole thing has gone on far too long. It's gone on long enough. It is an absolute mess. Like I said, I was part of this. I have trans friends who, if they knew who I was making this video, they would disown me instantly. Not just trans friends. I have all different friends and colleagues who would absolutely disown me. I can't even share my real thoughts and opinions with them. In a society where people are supposed to have their own opinions and share them and be able to debate and discuss and learn from each other, half the population are now unable to actually speak their mind, and the other half are speaking absolute gobbledygook. So we are in a really messed up situation here. It's such a first world problem. You've got human beings who have lived for so long and evolved for so long and created and done everything, and then they let people just be born and not have any actual goals or ambitions. They let anybody breed. That people are just sitting around and they're just coming up with new things to get upset about. And one of them is, I want to be a girl now, and people aren't blindly accepting that instantly overnight, so they are clearly bad people and they need to be called out. That's what's happening. People aren't blindly just accepting that I've made that decision, so I have to now chase them. I now have to hound them. These people need to be chased by a mob with pitchforks because they haven't instantly accepted that I have completely changed the meaning of what biology is. And you know what? Most of the people who are fighting against you, trans people, most of the people who are telling you that you're not really a woman or a man, they're not right-wing bigots. They're not sexist. They're not homophobic. They're not bad people. They are normal, everyday people who are just seeing reality, who are just seeing what they see. You've come to them and you've said, hi, I am a woman, and they've said, no, you are not. That's all that has happened. J.K. Rowling is not a bad person. Somebody who wrote stories about weird and wacky people, weird and wacky characters, somebody who wrote a character like Luna Lovegood, made people like me as a child feel like you could be a weirdo. And it was okay. All she's saying is you just can't change biology. That's all she came out and said, which is a fact. What I see on social media is just people hounding her, saying to boycott everything she's ever done. You are supporting evil. You are supporting the death and the murder of trans people just by watching Harry Potter. If you can't see how insane that is, then you are part of the problem. J.K. Rowling is a perfect example of a normal, nice person who has been completely ruined by this bullshit. Drop me a comment down below, let me know what you think. Anyone else out there who considers themselves queer, who have also had enough and are fed up by what's happening, I'd like to hear from you. Bye for now.